Hello everyone, I'm your host, Amos28, and this is Society Sunlit Valley. And this ugly abomination behind me is the Mammutilation. No, not Mammutilation, I'm thinking of StarCraft. The Mammutilation. And I'll show you just how you can get one of your own. Now, you're going to have to head into the frozen ocean and locate one of these things. I'm zooming in on it here, and I'm kind of doing a voiceover because I recorded this in the past, and then I didn't have time to actually narrate it at the time I recorded it. So don't worry. You're going to find this little ice geode under the frozen ocean. Once you go inside, you're going to see that it's full of frozen meat and frozen hair from the species mod. And you can go ahead and collect as much as you want. You really only need enough to produce one Mammutilation, which takes a 3x3x3 square, which is 27, but then the face is a carved pumpkin, so you really only need 26 of the blocks in total. Now you can turn the frozen hair, I believe, into leather, and I believe the frozen hair turns into wool, and the frozen meat turns into leather. So you can collect all of it if you want, and each little, spawn should give you enough resources in order to make like 20 Mamutilations if you wanted that many. But really, you can kind of do away with just one for the purposes we're going to need it for. Alright, then after you've obtained your frozen hair and frozen meat, you're also going to need 4 bone blocks per Mammutilation, 2 lightning rods per Mammutilation, and a carved pumpkin for the face. Obviously you can tell I forgot the carved pumpkin, but that's fine, you can add it later. Now to construct it, all you have to do is build a 3x3x3 of any amount of frozen hair and frozen meat you want. It really doesn't matter, I don't think, and I don't think it actually affects the end result Mammutilation either. You just have to build a cube of the meat, then pop out the front middle, well, not the center, whatever place you put in the front for the carved pumpkin is going to be the face. It doesn't really matter the orientation as long as everything lines up. So you can see we place the carved pumpkin there. You add the bone blocks to kind of be tusks, and I put the lightning rods in the wrong spot here. They actually go in the block above that. I believe I move it in a second. Yeah, there we go. I move it. It goes right above that because these lightning rods, once struck with lightning, are going to bring it to life, just like Frankenstein's monster. Now, from the prior clip, it is kind of out of order. So the way I recorded it was, I started with the Mammutilation, but then it literally took the entire summer season for a thunderstorm to happen. So I cut the video together to show, the full steps so you can learn how to do it yourself if you want to get it. There are, of course, other ways to finish off the Botania bundle if you want to do that. But anyways, so what we're currently seeing is that in order to finish the Botania bundle, I needed petrified mayonnaise. And one of the ways to make petrified mayonnaise, well, the only way really, is with a petrified egg. Now there's 2 ways to get a petrified egg. The first way is what I'm doing here. Using the biome compass, I went to the Badlands and I started excavating these fossils. Now, if you take a look at the surface, they're pretty easy to spot even on the minimap. You want to look for these bone blocks and these bone spikes sticking out of the ground. Around those will be the suspicious sand that you can dust, and every time you dust it, there's a very small chance that you can get a petrified egg, along with other stuff like sniffer eggs, some ores, some like archaeology pieces, but it's all pretty useless. Like, you can get sniffer eggs from one of the quests. Really, I just needed this for the petrified egg for the mayo. Like, that's really the only reason I came to do this, and it took me like an hour of excavation in order to get it. But it was a little bit fun because you're like excavating all these bones to see like the animal and then dusting off the sand to get items. But it was very tedious. So if you're not interested in doing that, there is a different way to get the petrified egg, but that involves going into the Skull Cavern and locating a very specific biome, which for the life of me I couldn't find. This is why I'm doing the archaeology method, because it's tedious, but it's like guaranteed after, so many excavations, like you're gonna get the egg eventually. Whereas if you go in the Skull Cavern, it's a lot more work because you have to delve through the Skull Cavern to find the petrified egg in there, which it is in there, but it's on some of the lowest layers, and since you have to fight your way through it the entire time, it's just not that easy. Anyways though, after you do enough excavation, I finally come across the petrified egg, and we can now use that to make our mayonnaise. And then it's really easy. Take your petrified egg, throw it into your mayonnaise machine, and that's really all you have to do. So as I was doing that, it's pretty standard stuff. Harvesting more of the cheese I was making, put the warped cheese wheel into my keg so we can age the cheese wheel for a couple days, sell it for like $2,000. Pretty good stuff. Now, the mayonnaise machine does only take like a day, so you don't really have to wait too long anyway. Because then, after it's a brand new day, just go to the mayonnaise machine, right click it, get your petrified mayonnaise, and turn it in to the abandoned quest line to get one step closer to Botania. Now you can see at this point I'm working on the truffle tea next, because I thought it'd be the easiest. No other reason about it. So, with the truffle tea, there's really only four ingredients in it. The truffle, some, I believe the tubabacco, and something else. But to craft it, you do need a tea kettle, which is pretty easy. It's a pretty cheap craft. You can honestly make it at any time, and it's really easy to use. You just put in some blaze powder, and you put in some water, and you put in a bottle, and that's it. It just works. Now, in order to make the truffle tea, we needed yerba mate, which is why it was so annoying that I needed to find it last time, because I needed it to finish off the truffle tea. And it took forever to get it. But luckily, it's really easy. You just combine the yerba mate with some sugar in a bottle, supply the heat, supply the water, and it makes a little mate you can drink. I don't drink it. It doesn't even sell for a lot of money. You make more money just by selling all of the ingredients instead of making this tea. So I don't know why really you would go out of your way to make it, except for when you're making, except for the fact that you're using it in order to finish off Botania. So you just combine the tubabacco leaf, the yerba mate, truffle, and the steamed milk in order to make the drink, and you're all set. It's really easy. Really, the most difficult part was finding the mate. I don't know why it's so difficult to locate that, but once you do it, you're done. That's really the only use I found for it. Now, there was an extra step with the tubabacco leaf. You do have to dry it out in order to, make your tea. Luckily, drying out the tea leaves is really easy. You make this multi-block structure, and each size of the structure of the wooden silo can store one thing to dry. So the lowest you can make, the 3x3, can do 9, but every stack above that doubles the amount. So it goes 9, 18, 27. Luckily, it dries it out pretty fast, and dried tubabacco actually sells for a pretty good amount of money. So after the tubabacco was dried, and we had the mate, we just combined all of the items in the tea kettle and make the truffle tea and turn it into the Botania quest line to get one step closer. Now for the gold Neptuna, I actually found this one was really easy, mostly because there's a fishing skill, or I believe it's the book, I forget which one it is, but you can unlock the ability to pull out quality fish based on the population, which made it really easy. So once the Neptuna reached a population of 7, all I had to do was every single day go out to the fish pond, pull one of them out, and they were going to be gold quality. So after 3 days, because I had 2 fish ponds, I had 5 golden Neptuna, and we could turn it in to finish off that portion of the quest. I really thought that one would be a lot more difficult, but it was honestly one of the easiest that I had to do. Finally, okay, so I just heard lightning strike, which means, if we're lucky enough, they'll strike our Mammutations, and they'll come to life. Let's see. We set up 3 of them. I've literally been waiting the entire summer season for a thunderstorm. This is the first one that's happened. So let's see if these guys will live. I think I saw some effects on those. Well, I'm not seeing anything else. Ah, thank you for the goods. Let's see. So we just need lightning to strike one of these guys. We just need at least one. And there we go. It's alive. It's alive. The Mammutilation. He's so big. He's so large you can barely even click him. Let's give him a gold coin. Gold coin. Here you go. Boop. Mammutilation. Now, if we get a bucket, we should be able to milk him. He needs rest. Okay, but I believe there's actually a workaround. So if I take some glass, I'm not sure if they patched this, but I believe this is something from the species mod itself. And if you right-click it with the bottle, you get the ichor. And now we can take the ichor and mix it with our other items to make the youth potion. And now we can take the youth potion and turn it in for the abandoned farm. And with that, the missing bundle is completed. The abandoned farm is unlocked and we get one elytra. Abandoned farm completed. Completed the abandoned farm gives you a petal apothecary. This is your entry point into Botania, a magical automation mod that will help with certain tasks around the farm. Completed. Now this guy is pretty large, so we're actually going to have to give him like a pretty big barn area, if anything. It looks like he's attracted to the factory. I kind of don't want him in there though. And, I cannot put him in the lasso. Alright, well, he probably came into the factory to get out of the rain. Well, buddy, you can live in here. We're going to have to get him some food though. And we have 2 more. But really, you don't need any more than 1. Because we just need them for the ichor, and ichor can be sold for money. And quite a lot of it at that. But that's about it. Like, that's it. And I think it's also a bit buggy when you think about it, because since you don't... Oh, there's the second one. Welcome. Welcome to life. Let me get you a gold coin. Mostly because I think it's pretty buggy, and I don't want to abuse a bug to make money, because theoretically, right, you can buy glass. Oh, there's the last one. Perfect. I'm gonna grab the final gold coin. Give it to this one. There we go. Now we have 3 of them. Not sure where I'm gonna put them. I'm gonna have to figure that out later. But yeah, what I was talking about is you can buy glass from the carpenter. 8 glass for $24. You only need 3 glass to make a bottle, which means you make a profit of like $212 every time you do that, which, I mean, it's a profit, it's money. Just when I think it's that fun. Are they fighting? What's going on? I'm not sure what that status effect was. I don't think they fight. They should be okay. And yeah, it looks like they all just want to come in here to get out of the rain. So maybe I'll put like a little feeding thing over here, box them in just so they can stay out of the rain. They are really big, so they're not going to fit in any standard barn, and I can't move them otherwise. So this is probably going to be one of the shortest episodes in the series, mostly because I didn't want to skip over all the progression I did in order to finish off the Botania questline, considering the prior episode I was talking about wanting to finish Botania. It was just, man, it took forever. Just trying to do everything. Mostly just waiting for the Mammutilation. If you take a look at the top left of each clip when I'm talking about stuff, you'll see just how long I was like waiting to get stuff done. And it was so annoying. Like, the first year, we had so many thunderstorms, but this year I have hardly gotten any. So it took like 25 in-game days before this one, and as soon as I saw it was a thunderstorm, I immediately turned on my recording to catch it, because I did not want to have to wait even longer and like skip to autumn. That was going to be way too long. But now that we have access to mystical farming, we can start with Botania and see how that's going to work in Society Sunlit Valley. I want to see how they've rebalanced things, because I think it's going to be really interesting, especially since they want you to fight the Guardian of Gaia as like one of the main things we're going to do. So I want to know like what exactly that's going to do for us. Why can't I find mystical flowers? Mystical flowers cannot be found in the world, and floral fertilizer is disabled in the pack. Don't bother searching for hours around the world either. Okay, so there's no mystical flowers that naturally spawn. So how do we get them? In order to work with botanical magic, you'll need the petals of mystical flowers. Fill the petal apothecary using water. From there, you'll toss in 4 of any crop, depending on the petal color, and of any kind of seed. Interesting. Okay, so when we start with Botania, we're going to have to get all 16 colors in order to do anything. That's an interesting way of doing it. Now, in addition to Botania, and you know, I haven't been idle just wasting the days away, that's why my money has gone down. I've also spent our money on books, so now we're down to just missing 2 more books, the Hitting Hard and Soft and Slouching Towards Artistry. This one costs like 20 million, so that's going to take a while to get, whereas this one is just like 64,000, so we're going to work our way towards that. But a lot of the other ones were really good. Which one was it? I believe it was... not this one. Where is it? It's the book that doubles the amount of there it is, Paradise Crop. One additional crop drop per harvest, which is really good. Since we're growing stuff that really only grows one anyway, we're essentially doubling the amount of crops we get, which is insanely good. Now, the other thing I was working on in between episodes was trying to finish off the community center. I can't do the fish tank yet because I missed a autumn fish and a winter fish here and a winter fish there, so I can't finish that until winter, but that should be easy enough just to go fishing. But I have been working on the crafts room, so we're almost finished. Because I wanted to be able to unlock the automatic harvesting, but to do that you need to finish the community center. But this is the last one. So for the winter bundle, I planted ginger in our greenhouse. So once the ginger is fully grown, we'll pickle it, and then this winter bundle will be done. And the chef's bundle is almost complete. This will just take a couple of crops in order to finish, and the only reason I'm not going to show it on video is mostly because all the stuff in the crafts room isn't difficult, it's just a little bit tedious. Like the brewing bundle, since I went to go find the mate, I was able to get all the other crops I needed to finish this, and then it was just growing them, which it wasn't difficult, it was just annoying. Like, you have to find the seeds out in the world, or the skull cavern, they do drop from the skull cavern, grow them and then turn them in. The foraging, this one, the top 4, easy. Well, I didn't get cranberries because I forgot about it, but if you just go searching out in the wilderness during each season, they spawn naturally, so the top 4 are the easiest. And then you could just find the mushrooms, they generate on like random structures. That one was like really simple. I did accidentally break the magic peanut, so that's not a tree I'm gonna get. The artisan bundle, really easy. Like any preserve, any large mayonnaise. The only kind of difficult one was maple syrup, but once you find a maple tree, like you're done. It's really not that difficult. And the chef's bundle did take me the longest in order to finish off. As you can see, it's still not done. I'm working on it. It's just a little annoying because I'm growing, you know, a single crop. I'm not growing a multitude of crops, so I kind of just went with what's the easiest. Like a cheese tart was really easy because we have access to cheese, eggs, and milk. And I could just find the wheat out in the world when I went to go find the mate, so that was like really easy. Which one was also easy that I was working on? So the ones I'm doing, and I would recommend doing these ones unless you have like more crops grown. Oatmeal with strawberries, really easy. Cheese tart, really easy. Chocolate sundae, really easy. Chocolate cake, really easy. And then the next 2 I'm doing is the ratatouille, very easy, 4 ingredients. They do grow in different seasons, but because you can substitute any vegetable, it's really easy. And once you unlock the greenhouse, it's not that difficult to get these done either, because you could just grow the crop out of season in the greenhouse. And the farmer's breakfast. It looks annoying because it has multiple like food groups in it to make the final product, but it's bread, bacon and eggs is literally bacon, egg, and butter is just milk. And the roasted corn is just 2 corn and butter in this stove block. So it's like, it looks more difficult than it actually is. It's really simple. So once you have access to the greenhouse, you could just click on one of those 9, see the ingredients you need, and then just grow those, and like you're done. So it's really easy. Then once we're done with that, I also get the magic mirror, which would have made exploring way easier. I should have done this sooner, but it doesn't matter. And we'll be able to finish off the community center. Now, in order to get the building that automatically harvests your crops for you, you don't have to finish the Botania one, the abandoned farm. You only have to finish these other 5. So if that's what you want to do and you're not interested in Botania, you don't have to finish off the abandoned farm. That one is very... Unlocking the abandoned farm is a lot more work than the other 5, and you can do them definitely at your own pace. But this episode took me a long time to get done, even though it's going to be one of the shorter ones. But, as always, I'm your host, Hamas28, and I'll see you all next time.